Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I'm trying to hit 100k on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. I just went to a concert and my ears are ringing like a motherfucker. So I don't know, I just felt I'd mention that because it's very uncomfortable. I decided I'm going to do a top 10 at each position video over on this channel. I did this back for previous to the last season, going into last season, and that was, I think I did that all in 2K Talks, which is a series I discontinued because I didn't like how low quality they were. But I figured, hey, I have this second channel now, here's where I will put my garbage. So top 10 at each position. They're going to be 5 of these videos, obviously, because there are 5 positions in basketball. If you did not know that, I'm not sure what you're doing here. Anyways, just a quick caveat for the point guard thing. I have James Harden as a point guard, and I have Kyrie Irving as a shooting guard, just because with the Brooklyn Nets offense, the way that it is ran when the both of them are healthy, Kyrie is more in the shooting guard role and James Harden is more in the point guard role, even though, as we all know, the positions are more arbitrary than they used to be and it doesn't matter nearly as much, but that's just how I labeled them. So James Harden I have as, well, spoiler, the second best point guard in the NBA, and Kyrie is in the shooting guards list. So with that said, some honorable mentions I just wanted to point out. Ben Simmons, I don't even really think he's a point guard. I think he's really meant to be a power forward, but I didn't rank him amongst the power forwards either, so I just put him here for honorable mentions. Mike Conley, Jamal Murray. Jamal, I very easily could have given the 10 spot over who I gave it to, but I was a little on the fence. And if this was a projecting going into next year list, then LaMelo Ball would have made it, but it's just kind of where I think they are right now. I'm not going to make any projections with these lists. So at 10, I have Ja Morant. Someone who I think is pretty consistently overrated, or at least I did think that a while ago, and then he went on like an incredible run to get his team into the playoffs, so I can't slight him too much. I think Jamal Murray is right there with Ja, and if you said that he was better, I wouldn't argue with you. I would just give Ja the edge from the playmaking point of view, but you could say jump shot, shot creating, all that, and I'd completely understand. At number 9, I have Drew Holiday. I thought about putting him a few spots higher, but the thing is that his offensive consistency is kind of lacking, and we especially saw that in the postseason. He can be really good one game and really bad another, and that I really am annoyed by lack of consistency. That's one thing you'll see me complain about pretty frequently with all of how I talk about players. So lack of consistency. Otherwise, Drew probably would have moved above the next 2 guys I have above him. At 8, I have De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron is one of the most underrated players in the league pretty much all the time. The fact that there are trade rumors around him being traded for Ben Simmons is laughable to me, because there's not a chance in hell I am trading De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons. No fucking way. But yeah, he's an incredible slasher, a good playmaker. His mid-range shot is actually like really good and doesn't get credit for that. His 3-ball, not good, but other than that, there's no weakness in his game offensively, and defensively he's pretty solid. So no real complaints with De'Aaron, and he's pretty fucking underrated. At 7, Kyle Lowry. I could see Drew being ranked over Kyle Lowry and De'Aaron Fox, by the way, but Kyle is an incredibly good three-point shooter, a really good decision maker, a really good playmaker, a really good defensive player, has a really big ass. That's not a reason, I just felt like pointing it out. And he's genuinely like one of those players that, like, he's in the camp of like, if you know, you know. Like, NBA nerds know how good Kyle Lowry is, but like if you're a casual, you might not really pick up on the nuances of Kyle Lowry's game. So I have Kyle Lowry at 7. At 6, I went back and forth between who I have at 6 and who I have at 5. And at 6, I have Trae Young. Now I could very easily see you putting him over who I have at number 5, which is Russell Westbrook. If you wanted to say that Trae Young is better than Russ, especially after the postseason that we just saw from the Hawks, with how incredible Trae Young was at just being the engine of that offense that was surprisingly dominant in the playoffs, I would understand that. I'm just giving Russell Westbrook the place just based on seniority alone. I think it's pretty close between the two. And if you're a Russell Westbrook fan and you're mad about this, because Russell Westbrook fans are mad about a lot of things pretty much always. This is more commentary on how highly I think of Trae Young, not of how low I think of Russell Westbrook, because I think Russ and Trae are neck and neck, and that says a lot about how fucking good Trae Young is, not how not good Russell Westbrook is. That being said, when we get into number 4, this is where we're getting into another tier, which is where we get to Damian Lillard at number 4, and I think that is a fair placement for him, because I also have Luka Doncic on this list before Blazers fans freak out on me. Now, Luka versus Dame is a legitimate debate. I would just give it to Luka because I think his playmaking is definitely more of a threat than it's given credit for. Not that it's given credit for, but I think that's what splits the difference between Dame. Obviously, Luka's playmaking gets a lot of credit, so that was the wrong way to phrase that. But Luka, the reason I would take him over Damian Lillard personally is just that he can create, not in the same way, but the same level of point production on similar, if not better, efficiency while being a better playmaker. And he's actually a better defensive player too. Luka is actually like a neutral to sometimes even decent defensive player this year. He took quite a leap this year and hasn't really been given credit for that. I was on the Let's Keep It a Buck podcast the other day, and I was looking at the chat, and there was some guy in there arguing that Luka is a terrible defensive player. And it's like, no, he's not. He wasn't even terrible as a rookie going in the league. He was just not great. And then he took pretty big strides in this last season. And like, Luka got so much better last year. Didn't really get credit for it because as a defender, he got better. And then he just suddenly became, after not really taking mid-range shots much his first 2 years, one of the best mid-range shooters in the league. High volume, high efficiency. A lot of, on top of just the stats, great moves to create separation. He used the step back that he does for threes, for mid-range shots, a lot of fadeaways, out of the post, not out of the post, all that kind of stuff. Luka improved his game quite a bit last year and didn't even really get the credit for it. But I think Luka's better than Dame. If you said Dame over Luka, I don't know that I'd freak out on you, but I definitely am pretty confident that I consider Luka to be better than Damian Lillard. And then after Luka at 3, I have James Harden. There are some people who make an argument for Luka being better than James Harden, but really just the simplest reason why I would take James over Luka is that I trust Harden's outside shot more. Luka, like total like point per game and efficiency ratio can be relatively similar to Harden while also being a great playmaker, as Harden is also a great playmaker. But James Harden's 3-ball is notably better than Luka's and a billion times more consistent. So for that reason, I would give James Harden the number 2 spot over Luka Doncic. Once again, I don't think Luka over Harden is some ludicrous take, but I don't think I'm going there. Luka is actually a weird player to rank because there are some people who are way too low, some who I think are pushing it a little bit, and this is my version of falling somewhere in the middle. And then number 1, I think it should be undisputed that Stephen Curry is the best point guard in basketball, and that's including when James Harden is in the conversation. I don't think there's much doubt that Steph Curry is better than James Harden, but people tend to disagree with that take, so I understand that, and also will claim that I'm biased, which to be honest, I'm a little bit biased, but I try my best to be as nuanced as possible. Just the gravity that Steph Curry has, obviously hey guys, you know Steph Curry is a good 3-point shooter. The shooting is a factor, and that's not to say like James Harden is an all-time great 3-point shooter, but he's not the greatest. And Steph's playmaking overall, I think, is better than James because of his gravity. And I think that Steph is the best offensive player in the NBA and arguably the best offensive player of all time. So that's why I consider Steph to be the best point guard in the NBA. I don't know why people are always going for Steph's neck and like going for his titles and whatever. Like, Steph is great, and he's consistently one of the more targeted players on NBA Twitter and really just in general to give him shit for no reason, and it kind of frustrates me. So yeah, Steph Curry is the best player in the NBA, and if you disagree, you're wrong. End of the video.